It's another beautiful Sunday afternoon. This is Rubbin'Minds. Welcome. My name is Ebuka Obiuchendu. Thanks a lot for joining us. Yes, politics is still very heavy in the air. We've got a lot more Nigerian politicians, or Nigerians as a whole, who are coming out to declare their intentions across the country. Like I said, the political season started pretty early this year. We're going to be watching the space to see what happens in the coming weeks and months ahead. Also, COVID-19 is still real out there. I know a lot of us have moved on, unfortunately. But yeah, the numbers are still rising. Thankfully, the Omicron variant seems to have declined, and we're hearing less news about hospitalizations and deaths in particular. So, but as much as you can, please keep safe and do all that you need to do. It's been 2 years now, and hopefully we're at the end of the road, and we should be getting some sense of normalcy in Nigeria and across the world very soon. But tomorrow is St. Valentine's Day. Yes, if you are hearing saints for the first time, it is actually a saint's feast day, but it's a day to celebrate love across the world. And we're going to be talking to two guests here who will help us understand a little more what the day should be about and what their plans are, maybe. I have here Aka and Claire. Nani, how are you guys doing?
I'm fine, thank you.
Yes, I said today is Valentine's Day, and you came in, which is a day, I think it's to celebrate single girls or something, so you're not celebrating that. But how are you doing? How are you guys doing?
We're fine.
How many years now married?
3, almost 4, almost 3, sorry.
Yeah, 3.
Feels like a lot.
Is that a good or bad thing?
It's a good thing.
And before the marriage, how long were you guys together?
4 years.
Yeah, so
4
4
years.
before marriage, and then, 3 in marriage. So that's 7 years of being together.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So 7 years. So, Claire, 7 years ago, people always say at the start of things, the butterflies are there, you're very excited, which is what makes you, I don't know if it was love at first sight for you, but you look back then and now. A lot of people are very scared of commitment. How have things changed, and how do you keep those butterflies going?
Okay. So for me, things have changed in terms of my, perspective on life generally, and love and marriage. It's not I want to go in and I want to go out. For me, it's we die here, pretty much. And I know that for it to work, there's a lot of working that I have to do for myself. So changing my perspective on certain things, fixing my pride, understanding that he deserves and wants respect, and he deserves honor.
Yeah.
So those are kind of things that I'm working. I'm working on my relationship with God, because that's what keeps my marriage going. Back then, I was moving on vibes, and just the fact that I was friends with him, and we're still friends. Right now, it's more serious because now we have a baby, so it's about just building a family and a generation that lasts.
Nice. Has it been harder or easier than you thought?
Wow. So, look, when I first got into marriage, it was harder than I thought. It was, in fact...
At the start of the marriage?
Oh, yeah.
Right after the relationship?
Right after the honeymoon. I always tell people that, right after the honeymoon, the honey finished.
Completely, the jar is empty.
Oh my God. We were fighting every week. We got to a point where we were fighting every week, a couple of month or two after, honeymoon, and then fight. When we didn't fight for 2 weeks, we were like,
Are we normal again?
Right.
And the next thing, bam, fight go just, but we had to work on all that, work on ourselves, like she said, find true love, which was God first, love ourselves and find who we were, and then decided to, make certain decisions and decided to move forward. And to be honest, now, it's just so easy.
Yeah. What do you think made that, though? Is it the living together that caused the fights? Because you find that most people in relationships don't actually live together. In a lot of other countries, you find people who move in before the actual marriage. Yeah. Do you think that probably would have changed?
I don't think it is. I think it's that it's not a. So I always tell people you have to, be prepared for marriage before you get in. And like I say again, premarital class, what do they call it? Premarital wedding class is a scam. You don't need it before marriage. You need it during marriage. After your wedding is when you should, because
then you figure out what
then
your
you are
dynamics
awake.
are.
Yes, you are alive. Because before with the wedding, it's entering here, coming out of here. You just want to get in, tap that ass, all of that. But after the wedding, everything don't calm down. You're now faced with life, making decisions, meeting each other every day. That's why you have personality clashes, boundary clashes, and you need people who've been there before to say, oh, it's normal, we've been there, this is how we went, this is what happened and how we, overcame. So for me, I also felt like it was a matter of, like, I was a selfish person. I was just about what I wanted and what I felt, and I didn't know what it meant.
She's nodding. She's like, yes.
I was like, I nodded twice, and I was like, ooh, I should.
I don't know. I didn't know what it meant to live with someone else, and be with someone else. So, and I'm the kind of person who, if I keep something here, let it be there. And Claire is like, okay. I'm like, who moved it?
Like a butterfly, honestly. That question you asked, living together for me changed things because we enjoyed the distance and we kind of found,
when you wanted to.
we found the way that it worked for us, and it lasted at the time. So moving together, it was a bit of a shock for me because I never really lived with someone outside of my family members, and I love this guy, but why is he vexing about cream? Why is he vexing,
about toothpaste.
To be like the most random things. And I think also I had to figure out myself because I had just, immediately left my parents' house, immediately left, finished my master's. I was trying to set up stuff for myself and find myself. So in the middle of that, it felt like there was a lot going on.
Yeah.
So that, I feel like that really contributed. And honestly, not dealing with trauma from the past, a lot of things were triggers, and that contributed to the fights, pretty much.
Did the child change anything?
Wow.
The child made me realize that I don't want one more child. I want to enjoy this man, and I keep saying it to people that ask. Do you agree
that he's just one?
Well, I'm very open to just having one.
Okay,
very
that's
open
great.
to it.
So let's compromise.
I want to love him with everything that I have, because I know that the
children are a
plans
huge responsibility.
And the plans we have for our child, I don't know how I'm going to be able to do it with another one and still give him all of me. To me, he's more important.
Is it about giving all of me or taking all of me?
Well, both ways, whatever.
It's give and take.
She wants to take all of me and
I want to squeeze him. When they say in Yoruba, they say they use someone dry, that's pretty what I want to do with my husband.
Wow. So Valentine's is not just about married couples and all of that. And there's a generation now, it might not necessarily be a wave or a tsunami, but the perception about marriage is completely changed from what it was when we were growing up, Like you said, a lot of people now still believe that, you stay in it and do it. People who still aspire to it, but you have a lot more people who are saying, why do I need to get married, Is it that important? People have long-term relationships. Oprah is the biggest example that keeps coming up. I've been going on 30 years now with Stedman, her partner. Was marriage important to you? Do you think that living with someone or having a partner out of marriage could be something that may be a little more normal going forward for a lot of people?
For me, marriage was a very important part of, my life, my purpose, who I wanted to be, what I wanted to do, my future. Building a successful family had always been a big thing for me. I always wanted to build a model family and make God proud with it, because I know that it's the center of God's heart. The road there hasn't been easy, and it came with a lot of breaking of me and bowing of me and submission of me. But for me, I think it was very necessary for me. But I do salute other people who don't think it's necessary, and it's okay, because Jesus said there are people who aren't called to marriage, maybe because they're called to a life of eunuchism. And some people are just they don't want it. That's fine.
You guys are sort of in the public eye, From the outside, you would think, okay, these guys are perfect. They kind of roll in the same industry, the creative industry. But your relationship is also very public. You have a whole Instagram page dedicated to you as a couple. You share quite a bit about your lives, as much as you want to share, of course. There's also a perception about that on social media with people who share or keep your private life private. Why was that important? Do you think it helps you guys in any way or other people? Why do you feel the need to do that?
Our page and our purpose, just like you said, as our family, everything is hinged on not just ourselves. It's about the generation that we are currently with, the millennials, the Gen
Exactly,
Zs.
because a lot of the older generation were like, what did these people do?
Yeah, to be honest, and we got that sort of criticism from our parents, and to be honest, now they see that it's the testimonies that we hear, the entire purpose of our show is that people learn that it can work. Marriage is an institution that works when you do it right. And there's some things, hiccups, because we're very transparent, we're very open, nothing pretentious. So people are able to learn through our experiences, because the generation before us didn't really talk about a lot of things that we talk about. And I know that there is purpose in that. Just seeing that there is a community of people who are, same mind of marriage and God's, just growing together. I think that's the reason why we're doing what we're doing.
I mean, you also shared a very crazy moment with us, the breastfeeding gifts. How did you guys handle that? I mean, because there was opinions were all over the place for weeks. You even ended up doing a whole YouTube whatever about it, explaining yourself, That's one of the downsides, I guess, of, sharing. Or maybe not the downside.
It's not a
the other
downside,
side
because in the end of the day, there's some people that get it, and it's for those people.
How did you forgive?
Forgive him.
Did you need to?
I wasn't upset with him.
Okay,
so how did you come out of that?
So I think, I was the one who put that video out.
Yes.
I didn't even know about it.
Yeah, she didn't know. We were at a friend's place, and our friend recorded us just right there. She was just like, we need to capture this. So what had happened was the day before, I was talking to her, and talking to her about in my mind, as a man, what I know. The challenges.
She said
the challenges of this thing is that in the future the baby will start biting. That's the one I know, and how do we curtail that? So we need to store for the future, because we had planned and we said that our child will breastfeed for a year. That's what we agreed. So I'm like, okay, so as a man, everything is maths.
You think everything just works that way? You didn't understand that.
I didn't understand the, what she has to go through, the biological, things that she was going through in her body to make that happen.
It was really a teaching.
It was a teaching moment for me when next day when I called her, so why did you react the way you did? So she was now explaining to me, and I was trying to understand. Okay, I see. Okay. So at the point when I released the video, I'm like, men need to hear this and understand and know this. That.
Were you shocked at the reaction?
Well, I wasn't shocked at the reaction on Twitter. On Instagram, everybody understood because they read through the captions and they were getting. But some people now took snippets and just put it on Twitter, and then, and me too, now. You give me, I give you back. So I dragged them back on.
It was quite a lot.
But I think the context of that one was even more about communication between partners and
having
to be honest,
those hard conversations and how to navigate it.
That's one thing myself.
Learning.
Exactly. Myself and Aka have tried to do over time, have had conversations, even while we were dating. Because it's in those hard conversations that you're able to understand how to create a system that works with conflict. So not that we're amazing at it, but we're so much better than where we were in 2019.
So what you guys were actually watching was our conflict resolution actually playing out, because we were communicating a hard situation that she felt very differently about. And I also felt very...
Let's quickly move on now. I mean, tomorrow is St. Valentine's Day. Do you think it's important to have a day for love? It's an ongoing conversation. And what do you do on a day like that?
Day of love is every day for us. I know it's almost cliche, everybody says that, but it's genuinely every day. So our mantra is that we outserve each other. So every day I'm like, I'm going to save money and buy this guy something, He goes all out and he's like, stop, babe, you don't have to buy me anything. But look at him, he's bought me a brand new car and I'm just like, God.
So sweet.
Let me be guarding my coins.
Let me put you guys on the spot. What's her love language?
Her love language, she didn't know it. I found it, is quality time.
What's his love language?
Acts of service.
Is it harder when it's different love languages?
To be honest, it was hard for me because I was loving him the way that I wanted to be loved.
Or the way she interprets stuff. And that's what human beings fall into.
That's why I asked that, because a lot of people do what they like.
Yes, but they don't even know it's unconscious.
Yeah, it's
unconscious. That's how they understand love and love to be given to them. So they just give it to the next person, not knowing that that person has theirs.
Yeah.
So it's harder when it's different. You have to
We have to figure that out.
Yeah, you have to learn.
And it's just that we talk about intention. Aka actually intentionally took out time to study me. I didn't know he was doing that for him to get there. So intention.
And so that's very important for couples.
Yeah, it's important.
So what's happening tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
Starting today, actually.
I mean, I was thinking we were going to celebrate sometime in November.
No.
But this is why you're saying it's only one. So I don't know.
Oh my God. We
So
dropped
today,
her with grandma.
Yeah, we dropped her with grandma already. So today we're spending time together at a nice place, nice hotel. And we're just gonna, spend time there. We're not coming out because we don't want traffic. You know how Valentine's Day is. One man wants
and
to
it's now a Monday.
Yes, now. One man wants to serve his 3 girlfriends, they still get back home.
Wow.
So they
Without the delivery man.
Yes, everybody's moving.
Is it harder to love in Lagos?
Yeah. It's harder to love in Nigeria.
I don't know because I haven't done it elsewhere.
I think for me, I get bored easily because I don't go out. I don't like going out anymore because, with the work we do, it's, it's work when we go to places and to have fun, basically, but you then end up going to the same places every time. Lagos, what we have is just restaurants, and cinemas, but
there isn't enough to do.
There isn't enough to do.
So you have to be extra creative.
Yes. So
for me, I'm a simple babe. Just do something in the house. I'm good in the house. Love me anyhow.
She thinks she's good in the house.
Is that why we're overpopulated? No, you said Nigeria is boring, which I agree with, because there's very few things you can do. Tourism here, we've not still figured out how to manage it. So it makes you wonder. We just spend our time at home as couples.
At home at the restaurant.
But we enjoyed the lockdown because we were home.
That was the best time of our lives.
Favorite times in
best time of our lives. I wish we could go back to just lockdown, not COVID.
Yeah.
But lockdown.
How did it help you?
So it's just a lot of bonding and friendship and jokes and
learning and knowing. And praying and growing again and unlearning.
Conversation.
That was when also Gabby was conceived. So.
Yeah.
We already knew, Sha. We calculated this. We calculated it back then. So when you're around, like a lot of your single friends, who I'm sure you're still kind of cool with, do they look at you and aspire? Or do they feel like, I like that, but it's still not for me? Do you find that people understand now that marriage can be different, especially from this generation as compared to what it used to be? Yeah,
I hear a lot of those conversations from my friends, like the desire. And I think the desire is enough. Yeah. But it's just that they complain that the quality of guys that they meet in Lagos is the problem. So, myself, I met Aka online. There's other ways.
Dating app?
Yeah. Instagram.
I'm just
We met on Instagram. We met on Instagram. So I think there's a lot more creativity that needs to go into finding the right partner. Yeah. But I know that they see a marriage that works. I'm open also with my challenges, so they learn from my experience and know how to find and what to search for and what to prioritize. Yeah.
When looking.
Sorry, you just mentioned up there quickly before we go. I just remembered this show on the streaming platform called Love is Blind, where you get engaged to someone before you see them, just by listening to them and understanding their personality. Do you think you would have still married her without seeing her?
I think I would have.
Of course you say that.
Oh, no. But sometimes I randomly think about her in my day or, just, when something happens. And I don't tell her enough how much she means to me and how much I love her. I tell her a couple of times. But, and I've had to learn and grow with communicating what I feel. Sometimes I look at someone, I just feel like, okay, I've said what I need to say. And I literally think they heard me, but I had to learn to open. I didn't know I had that issue until I married. So, for me, I would just randomly say to myself, it could have been no one else. Yeah. Like, I just like, damn.
My cheeks are burning.
It couldn't have been anybody else.
No better way to end this conversation. Thank you very much, Ak and Claire. Good luck with everything. I mean, your careers are doing great. We can only keep going higher. Amen. Isn't it?
Thank you.
And all the best with Valentine's Day tomorrow.
Thank you.
We'll take a quick break now and be right back. Please don't go away. Back. The 16th edition of the Future Awards Africa is here, and this year we're celebrating challengers and builders. We have two guests here who are nominees this year, I believe. Tunde Onakoya, who's the convener, Chess and Slums, and of course Dada Temitope, who are the best, who's a director and a filmmaker, I believe. Thanks for being here today. How are you guys doing? Congratulations.
Oh, well, thank you.
Where were you when you heard you were nominated? And in what category?
I think I got an email from them for community action. So I was excited because, I mean, last year I saw it, and I mean, it's a very popular award, and I just thought someday. So that someday is now.
Yeah. Were you surprised at this? I mean, you are doing great things. For those who don't know, you, I think the name speaks for itself, Chess and Slums. Yeah. Why did you start off with that, and how long have you done this for?
Yeah, so there's a backstory, and it kind of tells my own personal story, right? And thank you for not calling it Chess in Slums, because I've heard so many different iterations of it. You see, Chess is Slums, Chess, but it's Chess in Slums Africa, right? So I started about like 4 years ago, in 2018, and like I said, it tells my personal story. I grew up in a slum community in Ikorodu called Isalodo, and chess changed my life, right? Literally, and I mean, 4 years ago, I made the same decision to give other children like me the same opportunities I got through chess, and that was how it all started. And it has evolved into, you know, this revolutionary project that is now changing lives, you know. So.
Yeah. So, I mean, we've seen a lot of your work online, and, you know, a lot of the things you do with. At what point do you think things went sort of? I don't want to use the word blow like we always do in Nigeria, but when did you realize this thing had become a lot bigger than you were working on?
Okay, so it's a series of events, right? But very recently, the last project we did, but then a lot of things happened over time, right? And I mean, that's why it's important to always stay consistent, right, with whatever you're doing, because you just never know, right? I think the first time was when sometime last year around May that we did a project in Makoko, right? So we had this tournament where a 10-year-old boy with cerebral palsy won, and it went super viral. Like, I was getting emails from people in other countries who were like really inspired by this boy's story. And we had journalists travel all the way down from their countries, from CNN, BBC. We had journalists from Portugal, from Germany, come to Nigeria to come and cover our story. So that was when it really dawned on me that we were doing something truly phenomenal, yeah. And I quit my job then. It gave me the confidence to do that and say, okay, let me just focus on this. I was a professional tutor, right? Okay. So I teach chess professionally, okay, right? So I used to do that. So it used to take up all my time because I had students in other countries, but I just knew that I had to do this. Like, this is purpose. This was purpose for me, right? I'd known all along, but then it became clear that if this project could become successful, it could mean that thousands of children, their stories would get rewritten. So.
Nice. And let me come to you now, Dada. First of all, congratulations. Did you get an email as well, or did you get a phone call?
Yeah, so I was driving to a shoot, and I think I was on Third Miller Bridge when I got the email, and I think I was playing a particular song that was in line with what was happening. So the joy was, like, I didn't imagine it. Not this year, at least. I didn't imagine it to come this year.
Yeah, because, why not?
I mean, I just started directing, like, in the real sense of directing.
Yeah. Well, you had kind of been in the industry.
I've been in the industry for a long time. I've been a creative for a long time. But, like, I just started focusing on directing, like, in this. I think COVID actually was when I started focusing on directing. And in just this short while, I got a mail for an award I was never expecting in the first place.
Yeah, awesome stuff. Now, I think your bio says something about you having an unhealthy addiction to exploring new stories and interesting things. So what sort of stories excite you? Because, I mean, Nollywood is on a path now that's very exciting for a lot of people.
Yeah, it is.
A lot of the streaming platforms are running in here. You know, we're seeing stories being told in a different way.
Yeah.
On the flip side, we also had the National Assembly talk about, you know, in the last week, how Nollywood has influenced the youth in a very bad way, which is why ritual killings and things like that are suddenly exploding, you know. So how important are those stories to you? What kinds of stories, you know, excite you?
Okay, so I'm a weird kind of director. A lot of directors enter industry maybe through a short film or through music videos. I don't do any of both. I just basically just focus on commercial for now. So, I mean, short stories are what I'm interested in, really short story and straight to the point. But I draw inspiration from a lot of things, and I want music videos and movies are like one of the major source of my inspiration.
Yeah.
But I'm more interested in telling short stories, quick, straight to the point story. But I'm not also interested in selling products to your face. So if you check my works, most of them are like story based. They're not just this products come and buy. No, it's how this project has transformed maybe the life or the movement. So those are like where I draw inspiration from, and that's like what I'm interested in telling right now. Like I said earlier, I'm a creative. I've evolved over the years from graphic design to photography to filming events to now directing. Yeah. And I believe that this is like still the early stage of my career. I still have like a long run to go. I've had few people send me scripts, short scripts, like come and try this out, but I think I know where I am and I know where I want to go. So I'm taking my time to master. I don't just want to jump into things I will just do for doing it. I want to do it because I know I'm ready to do it. So, I mean, big ups to Nollywood. Like, obviously, it's going to get bigger, and I think this is the best time to be in, to be honest. And I'm looking forward to exploring that. Like I said in my bio, I want to explore as much. I'm not a creative that can be caged and say this is what I explore things from time to time. So tomorrow I might move away from being director to probably a producer and all that. But I'm still a creative in the long run.
Just to put you on the spot a bit, when I was talking about what the National Assembly said, you know, there were people who started saying, you know, the NBC needs to ban certain sort of stories being used in films. Do you think there are some stories that should not be told?
No, I think our stories need to be told. The way we now tell them is what matters. And we cannot even categorize, just say this is the only source of influence to what is happening. Like, you cannot say people are doing rituals because they watch film. That would be, to be honest, dumb to say. But the way we tell the story matters. And even if you check Nollywood, the end of the rituals that we've seen on Nollywood is not like it's what will inspire you to go and do rituals. So I don't now know where that narrative is coming from. So our stories need to be told regardless.
And anybody you ask will tell you, this thing predates Nigerian films anyway, so it's not. But let me come back to you now. Why chess? Because it's quite a complex game. Board game, maybe not for you, but for a lot of people to understand. Because why not Ludo or what or draft or checkers, which other people call it? Why was chess the go-to?
Yeah, and so there are two ways to explain this. I mean, there's a part where, you know, chess is a global touchstone of intellect. You know, empirical research has proven that it aids cognition in so many ways. So for a child, it is an important educational resource to teach them not what to think, but how to think for themselves, right? So there's that, the mental benefits that it has, right? But then why chess in the context of this story, right? And this was the mindset behind starting out Chess in Slums. Because when you think about chess, you think about the elites, the high intellectual people, and all of that. You don't think about it in the context of like a slum child, because for a child in the slums, you know, for them it's just about survival. So the mindset was, teach them chess, let them gain mastery of it, right? And, you know, it would seem unreal when you say a child from the slums of Achigula is a chess master. You have to respect that child. You will look at that child differently, and that is a new identity. So that was it. Wanted to give them a new identity through chess to show that beyond the background, beyond what they look like, they have high intellectual capacity. You know, they have the capacity to do this that even some of the most intelligent people find difficult to learn. And this is just, the story of every child, right? These children that we neglect in these vulnerable communities, they have incredible potential. Chess is just one way to highlight it. Now imagine if you give them education, imagine if you give them coding, imagine if you give them anything else. They will thrive, right? So chess is just, it's not the end in itself. It's a means to several ends. Through chess, some of the children we trained have gotten scholarships to go abroad. They've gotten so many amazing, incredible opportunities, right? So chess is the driver, right? And chess saved my life, so it was the only thing I knew how to do.
How many children have you had go through this program now, do you know?
About 500 in Ikorodu. Started out in Ikorodu, then to Makoko, then to Burkina Faso, Kaya, then now Oshodi on the bridge.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And how many do you have currently? Or is there a stream, like you say, if some have gone on to do have scholarships and all of that? Like,
so the way it runs is we have academies in this location. So we have a chess academy in Ikorodu, we have one in Makoko, we have one currently in Oshodi, then we have one in Burkina Faso. So we create a database for all the children. So our program runs for like a year. So from very beginner level to master level, right? So they go through that program. Then we leverage partnerships for other things, for healthcare, and because of the demographic of children we work with, it's easy to empower an adult and just walk away, but you can't just empower children in some communities. Maybe just give them food for a day and take pictures of impact. You can't walk away, so there has to be a sustainability plan. So our sustainability plan for them is to give them an education. For the ones that probably cannot get an education, also give them other opportunities, right? That would be useful to them.
Yeah.
Right. So that's how it works. Then we have tournaments for them. We give them exposure, events, and all of that.
Nice. With you now, I mean, film is, like I said, it's changing. Streaming platforms are here. We're having all of this. People wake up and put things online, just if it's on YouTube or whatever. So it's a very different industry from when it started. Do you find, I guess my question is, would you call yourself a Nollywood director or a creative director? And why, whichever one you call yourself, why is that important, if you know what I mean?
So I think I'll call myself more of a creative director because I'm exploring stories. I'm exploring opportunities. I want to tell the Nigerian story. I want to tell the African story. But I can't tell a story I don't know. So at this stage of my career, I'm learning a lot, even as much as I'm putting out stuff. Most of the works I've done, there are stories I can relate to. There are stories I can tell from my perspective. Hence why I'm very careful with the works I do. Like, I get a lot of inquiries. Well, maybe not a lot, but I get a number of inquiries. And I'm selective of which project I'm on because I don't want to tell your story and tell it the way it is not supposed to be told. So I'll consider myself a creative director, but I want to tell stories from my own understanding. Yes, which is one of the things I want to explore more is partnership. So if there's a story I don't fully grasp, I'm looking forward to collaborating with other directors and say, okay, you understand this story more, but there's a twist I can bring to it. I probably can bring the creative aspects, the cinematography aspects, to make it a bit more acceptable because I think we've always had stories in Nollywood, in Nigeria. There's 1,001 stories to be told, but the way you tell it is what makes it maybe interesting to watch or even interesting to receive. Yeah. So the short answer is I'm a creative director, and I'm looking forward to telling stories.
Do you think the way the world is going, the movie industry as it's built is, I don't want to use the word under threat, but I mean, we've heard stories about how do I put it, television is killing film now. Streaming is killing cinemas because people want to sit at their home and watch a series as against going to see one blockbuster movie. So a lot of things are changing. There's also, the talk about, with the way the TikToks and the Reels are going, it looks like attention spans are getting smaller and all of these big budgets might not necessarily be that important anymore. Do you think that's going to happen?
No, I don't think that's going to happen yet. It might eventually happen, but I don't think it's what will happen like in the next few years. There's still, even though the attention span is smaller, people still appreciate good stories. We still have films that are going to the cinema and everybody's talking about it. Even though King of Boys, for example, is how many hours long, but people still talk about it. It's not your regular film that is short. So we still have those films, even though we want to watch the quick 15 seconds content. There's still a longing for those long-form content, and we cannot take that away from the table.
Yeah.
So the world is evolving, and so is film. I mean, before now, we shot films on, like, film. But now, with your memory card, you can shoot what you can't shoot on film. You can shoot 8K and the likes. So they are like, the world is evolving, and film is also evolving. And I think Nigeria, the space generally, is also evolving alongside. So there's still going to be that longing for those contents.
Great stuff. Today, I mean, we see what you do, and for a lot of us, it's clear that it's not very easy. But you also kind of make it look easy, because you put up all these glossy pictures of just kids around the table, you know, and they're playing chess, and it's like, oh, wow, he's doing something great. How hard is this, or how hard has it been, you know, all these years?
First of all, it's not easy. Maybe it looks easy now because, you know, when you've been doing something for 4 years, and someone, I mean, I get a lot of messages. For context, I gained like almost 80,000 followers in just a couple of days, right? So a lot of people followed, a lot of people discovered this for the first time. But like I said, we've been doing it for 4 years.
So they don't see the fights.
Yes. So think of it this way. For the past 4 years of my life, every waking day is me thinking about how I could be a better human, how I could be kinder, how I could do things differently to serve humanity. Just like the way you think about your craft, what you do, and how you can get better at it, is also the way I think about humanity, about understanding people, understanding their intimate struggles in a way that I could relate and be able to help. So with time, it has made me who I am. So that's why it seems easy to be able to do these things. Imagine one of the most dangerous ghettos in the world, in Lagos, Nigeria, being a classroom to teach chess. It doesn't make any sense, right? You know, not a lot of people will be brave enough to want to do things like that. But then, before that, I've gone to Makoko and slept there for 3 days just because, and if you see Makoko, the largest floating slum in the world, it's not easy to even stay there. How much will live there? So I've done things like this over time. Have helped me build confident expectations, right? It's hard to be able to engage, right? But then, someone has to be brave enough to tell the stories, to make it easy for other people. We have something coming up now on the 26th. The Canadian High Commission, they are coming to Oshodio on that bridge to play chess. Some of the sailors from, you know, Canada, the captain, they're coming down to Oshodio on that bridge to sit down with children on the street to play chess, right? That is phenomenal, right? But it didn't just start now. There's been, you know, times when it was extremely difficult, but now we're getting a lot of support now. It does seem easy now because people are starting to believe that it is truly possible to do great things from a small place.
The non-profit world, for a lot of people, they say it's a landmine, you know, because you are doing great work. It's not necessarily a 9 to 5 or you're building a business. You're just doing humanitarian work.
Yes.
They call it a landmine because reputation is very key. At the point where anything goes wrong, it becomes, oh, wow. So that's what this was all about all along, especially with money. Does that worry you, or does that put more pressure on you, you know, to be a certain way or carry yourself a certain way and be sure that everything is done a certain way? Because whether you like it or people are waiting to say, aha, I knew it, you know.
Yeah, of course. I mean, sometimes I just see some comments, and, you know, I remember one time I just tweeted something like, all I want is a great girl for Christmas. So we were like, don't go and use charity money to carry a great girl. And, you know, I mean, those are like the few ones, you know, exceptions. But it's like being a pastor, right? Imagine you are collecting all that money and you're living extravagant life. And, you know, people will start thinking it's just regular human behavior, right? So I try not to worry so much about those things because I think when you decide to do work like this, then you've chosen to be vulnerable. You've chosen to put yourself out there. Look at Bill Gates. After everything that this guy has done to eradicate polio in Africa, he still gets a lot of aids, conspiracy theory. So I've come to terms with it that there would always be that criticism at some point. Maybe not now, right? Everyone is still like, but then I'm very prepared for when that happens. The most important thing is to stay true to myself, stay true to the cause, you know, and make sure that, you know, we can create the success story for so many children. That would always be priority. And even if it comes with some negativity and criticism sometimes, I know myself, and integrity, you know, is is key. It's something that when I had nothing, and now that it does seem like I have something, which is not my money, right? But then it would always be, there would always be accountability to the people who give to this, and ultimately it would make it count in the lives of the children that we're advocating for.
I mean, you have Paris Hilton in your corner, so.
Yeah.
Would you want
Best
to
friend.
Well, we started a conversation.
I've been toasting you.
So what started here? What kind of conversation? You're trying to, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't reveal too much, but, you know, it's something you would definitely, these kind of stories you're talking about.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
And I love what you said about stories, because stories are important. Like, a lot of people do great work like this, but they never get this kind of visibility because they don't know how to articulate their stories properly. Right? I think that's one thing that helped us at Chess and Slums, because people don't understand chess, but they understand humanity. They don't. If you are saying there's this, you just went to vertical, you lose people.
Long story.
Right? But people understand how it relates with like humanity, right?
Yeah,
so
and
being able
lives,
to
basically.
breach that, you know, has helped our stories get more visibility. Yeah. So he's a storyteller, and I was telling him while we were sitting there that we should work together on creating a new story. There's so many untold stories. The ones I share don't tell the full story. They don't capture the entire essence of the project.
Nice.
So it's important to work with people like him, you know, creatives like this, to be able to put out more, you know, perspectives, right, to the story and inspire people.
You started here?
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. Do you think you're going to win the Future Award?
Do I think? To be honest, I don't know.
Why not? I mean, I'm sure you've seen the other people who are in the category. I'm going to look at their work. You'll be like,
Not
better
really.
pass this guy.
Because I know them before now. Like,
Okay.
like
So
most,
are
of
you
people,
feeling kind of
most of
confident?
the people in that category are people I talk to. Like Nora. Me and Nora have been chatting for like 6 years.
Yeah.
Know each other for like 6 years. So it's not like I don't know them. So, and their works are great too. So it's left to whoever is deciding will win, to be honest.
What about you?
If I don't win, they'll be right.
But I don't think what's
sure.
more important is, I think what's more important is the recognition, to be honest.
Yeah, we hear that. But I mean, winning is great. Come on.
But I'm rooting for this guy, Flag Boy. I wish we were not in the same category, but well, maybe.
So you're already telling him sorry in advance. Well, good luck to both of you. The Future Awards, I think, is coming up in, I think, about a week from now, next Sunday. So all the best, and all the best to all the nominees of the Future Awards 2022. We're going to take a break now and be right back. Please stay with us. Welcome back. The Nigerian music industry is doing amazing things across the world. I mean, we have transcended the borders and even the continental borders. It looks like we're on a good run, and 2022 is even looking set to be amazing. But yes, we know all of the artists, you know, the big names. Sometimes the producers get lost in the mix. You might know their names, but not their faces. I have one of them here with me now. If you're a fan of Nigerian music, you definitely heard the name Fields. And he's here with me today. How are you doing?
I'm good.
Well done, man. How long has this been going on for with music here for you?
A little over 12 years now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Professionally?
Professionally, maybe 11 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What made you go into the music industry and not as an artist?
I started as an artist, actually, because for me, I just wanted to make music. So I didn't care if I was producing for myself or I was writing for another person, and I still don't care, because I just want to make music. So it was in church, and you know, I can still remember then being a little, child in church. First time inside the church, because they have a special place for children. First time inside the church, and then I saw the choir sing, and I saw like the power it had on people, and like the emotions and the drive, and how people worship, and then that one got me interested in music, because I wanted, that.
So when did the switch to being a producer happen?
It kind of happened along the way. I just made music. I just made for myself and made for other people. But at a certain time, a lot more light got shone on my production part than me being an artist. So I just followed the vibe and just ran it through.
So when was the moment you think it's happened for you in the industry? Which artist? What song?
That would be First of All by Olamide.
Okay.
Yeah, that was it. That was the one. That was the one. And
that's when your price increased.
Yeah. And I was 17 too, so
wow.
I was really young. So that was amazing.
Nice. How did you get to work with an Olamide at that time?
I was an intern under Idi Kabasa at Coded Tunes. We were both, interns actually. We were the go and buy rice, go and buy plantain. We were those guys, go and buy fuel guys. So we linked, we got connected in Coded Tunes, and then, ID Kabasa would leave the studio late at night. We would sneak into the studio and work together, and that's how we started, having a work relationship. And,
yeah. Then can we talk about Fireboy?
Oh.
Because Fire. How did that happen? Because first of all, that album, you know what it did to Nigerians. Yeah. What was the thought process, or what is the thought process of, working on a project like that for you?
For me, it's always no hold bars, no cage. Just make music, just create. Yeah. We're not thinking of genre, we're not thinking of demography, we're just making what we want to make. Later on, we can filter and dissect, but right now, we're just creating. So that was what I told him, Fireboy. I'm like, yo, let's just create, let's just make music. Let's just make amazing music that we think is cool. Yeah. And so
I've always wanted to know, when as a producer you're making music, do you know that a song is going to do well? And how often do you know that a song is going to do well, but it doesn't?
It's always, you just know what you feel. Yeah. Sometimes I think people are going to vibe with this one, or I think people are going to like this one, but you really just know what you feel. Yeah. You are not really.
You just go with what you
just go with the flow, and if it works, then fine. If it doesn't, then you move on to the next one.
Who's been your favorite artist to work with?
Me.
Besides you?
Besides me, Fireboy, man.
Yeah.
Fireboy is an amazing artist to work with. He's really good.
Yeah.
So ready.
Are producers getting enough of the respect that you think they should be getting yet? Because for a long time, they weren't even part of the conversation. Right now we're hearing name stamps and songs, so there's a lot more, at least name recognition, but also money-wise and just respect as a whole in the industry. Do you think that's happening enough?
Yeah, I think it's happening, but I think it's going to grow a lot more. I think it needs to grow a lot more, because I think producers do a lot more than just make beats. A lot of producers are co-writers. A lot of producers are, have their vocals on the track. A lot of producers are artists themselves. So, I think they need, I think we all need a lot more attention, and I think it's getting better. Yeah. And we'll get there for sure.
Is the money conversation changing? Because, we would always hear, producers get paid off. So the artists, go with all the royalties and all the money that comes with it. Is that still happening, and how does it work for you? Are you a part of the long-term conversations, and is that even important?
It's changing, but it depends on a lot of other factors. The right team, for one. Like, you need a very strong team that knows the business, because it's one thing to just make the music, it's another thing to handle the business. It's a total different game. So you need a team and a management that really understands the business. And yeah, it's still, a lot of producers are still getting swindled out of their deals and stuff. So, I mean, it's the world. It's how it functions. You just have to, learn and grow.
Favorite Nigerian producer besides you?
Will be SARS. SARS, for sure.
Yeah, he does good work.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah. What are we looking forward to you? Actually, before we get to that, I wanted to talk about this Amapiano. How many more months do you think we have with this? So people have called it a pandemic. This Amapiano pandemic, which is not bad. Because I mean, the sound. Story. There's a reason why the sound is as beautiful as it is, and it's still going on. But your opinion, is it still going to be around for a while, or do you think it's tired?
At this point, I think Amapiano has evolved from just a sound. I think it's like a spirit now. It's like a vibe. It's not just a sound. Like, I feel like it's a sound that, yes, the prime period might be over, in a minute or in a while, but I still feel a lot of the influences will seep into other genres of African music. Yeah. I feel like Amapiano will have a lot of influence in other, African music. Yeah. I worked on something a while back and I called it Ama Blues. It's amazing. So yeah, I think it's a spirit now for me. Yeah.
I saw Alter Piano the other day. I'm like, what is going on here, man?
Alter Piano, that one is a good one. That one is a good one.
I'm like, what's going on here? Who have you not worked with that you would like to work with?
I have quite a list. In Nigeria, Two-Face for one. I think Two-Face and I will make.
Wow, yeah, that would be good.
Wande Cole. Yeah.
You haven't worked with Wande?
I worked with Wande Cole a few years back, but I would like to work with him now. Again. Because I have like a folder that I think Wande Cole would smash. Yeah. Burna Boy, yeah. I had a session with him a couple of years ago. I would like to connect with him again. Internationally, Timbaland. Pharrell, Drake, Kanye. Oh my God, Kanye.
These are very deep guys that you're calling.
Rick Rubin, Tyler the Creator. Oh, that list is long.
Yeah.
That list is long, but yeah.
But I mean, it's not impossible. I mean, the way Nigerian music is going, there's a lot.
There's no bridge again. Everywhere.
Everything is open, man.
Everything is open, though.
What should we look forward to with you this year? Are you doing a lot more of the artist side or the producer side? What's to come?
A lot more of everything.
Okay.
A lot more production, a lot more artist side. I have a song dropping, real song with Buju called Finesse. That is really popping up on social media. And that one has been amazing since that vibe happened. And it just happened last week. I just made the song last week.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I just made the song and I just thought about posting it online while I was making it, and then it was crazy. So yeah, a lot more music, a lot more production, a lot more art as well. Yeah.
All the best, man. Looking forward to you and everything you're going to be doing.
Thank you very much.
Fields, and have a great year ahead. But thanks for joining us. As I always say, I'll see you next Sunday. To have a great week.
I am ready for your action. Just